Have you ever noticed that the more you try to explain yourself to someone, the less they actually listen? Welcome back to Meditation Now. In this video, we aren't talking about being nice or finding inner peace. We are diving into the law of scarcity and the brutal psychological reality of why ignoring the wrong people is the fastest way to gain the right kind of power. Most people are terrified of being ignored. They crave validation like a drug, posting, shouting, and reacting just to prove they exist. But while they are busy chasing attention, they are unknowingly handing over the keys to their internal kingdom. Pay close attention, because at the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the one specific moment where silence actually becomes a trap for you. And if you don't recognize the reverse echo, your greatest weapon will turn into your biggest liability. If you feel undervalued, it's because you are too available. It's time to disappear. The architecture of the psychological void. Why does it hurt so deeply when someone ignores us? It's because it triggers a primal, DNA-level fear of exile. When you react to someone's disrespect, whether you flare up in anger or try to logically explain your side, you are handing them a victory. You are telling them, your opinion of me matters more than my own peace. You are feeding their ego the exact nutrients it needs to grow. But when you meet disrespect with a cold, absolute silence, you create a psychological void. Without your reaction, the other person has no mirror to validate their existence. They are left alone, trapped in a room with their own toxicity. They begin to spiral into a series of frantic, internal questions. Why isn't he reacting? Does he know something I don't? Am I so insignificant that I'm not even worth his energy? The moment they start asking those questions, the power dynamic has shifted. You haven't just won the argument, you've colonized their mind. The law of scarcity and social leverage. Attention is your most valuable currency, yet most people spend it like it's infinite. If you give your time and energy to everyone, your presence becomes worthless. High-value individuals do not spend attention. They invest it where they see a return. If someone isn't bringing value to your life, withdraw the investment immediately and without warning. Watch how quickly they scramble to recover what they once took for granted. In any social interaction, the person who cares the least holds the most leverage. By ignoring the noise, you are signaling that you are the master of your own environment. You aren't just playing their game better than them. You've walked off the board entirely, leaving them playing against a ghost. The strategy of the non-reaction. A manipulator survives on emotional feedback. They are like parasites that poke and prod you just to see if you'll jump, searching for frustration, defensiveness, or hurt. This feedback gives them a sense of control and predictability. When you remain unmoving, unbothered, and silent, becoming what psychologists call a gray rock, the manipulator loses their grip. You become an enigma, a puzzle they cannot solve. And human beings naturally fear what they cannot understand. Your silence acts as a high-definition shield that reflects their own ugly behavior back onto them. It is the only response in the human repertoire that requires zero effort, but yields maximum, often devastating results. The execution of the silent cutoff. There is a sharp difference between playing petty games and setting ironclad boundaries. The silent cutoff isn't about revenge, it's about protecting your frequency. When you stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you reclaim massive amounts of wasted energy. Think about the people in your life right now who drain your spirit. The friends who only call when they need a favor, or the colleagues who subtly sabotage your progress. What would happen if you simply stopped responding? No dramatic explanation, no final talk for closure. Just a clean, silent exit. It feels uncomfortable at first, and the urge to explain your side will be overwhelming. Resist it. Your silence is the only explanation they deserve, and their inability to get a final word out of you will haunt them far longer than any insult ever could. The ultimate display of control and the final twist. True power isn't about how much noise you can make or how loudly you can defend your honor. It's about how much chaos you can observe without breaking your composure. The next time someone tries to pull you into their theater of the absurd, remember that your silence isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign that their influence over you has officially died. You have become the predator of the interaction by simply refusing to be the prey. But as we reach the end of this cold strategy, there is a final, darker twist you must understand before you deploy this weapon. A psychological trapdoor that most people fall into without realizing it. While silence is a devastating tool for external power, there is one person you can never, under any circumstances, ignore: the person in the mirror. You see, the human mind is a master of disguise. Many people use the silent cutoff not as a shield, but as a wall to hide behind, because they are too afraid to face their own reflection. They mistake isolation for strength and avoidance for mastery. If you use silence to hide from your own shadows or to suppress the parts of yourself that need to grow, you aren't a master of psychology. You're just a prisoner of your own ego, locked in a cell of your own making. Here is the secret they don't tell you. Silence is a magnifying glass. When you stop the noise of the world, the only voice left is your own. And for most, that voice is terrifying. If you cannot sit in a room alone and be at peace with your own thoughts, your strategic silence against others is nothing more than a performance. It's a mask worn by a coward. The ultimate version of this power is when you are so secure in your own reality that you don't need to prove your silence to anyone. You don't ignore people to hurt them. You ignore them because they simply no longer exist in the frequency you've chosen to live in. Master the art of being unavailable to the world's nonsense, but remain brutally, painfully honest with yourself. Because once you truly learn the power of ignoring the noise, you realize the ultimate truth. You were never the one being hunted. By choosing silence, you didn't just escape the trap. You became the one who owns the woods. The world will continue to scream for your attention, begging you to react, to argue, and to descend into the mud. Let them scream. Your energy is a finite resource, and every time you give it away to those who haven't earned it, you lose a piece of your future. If you found value in this psychological shift, please subscribe to Meditation Now, because in our next video, we are going to dive into the 7 signs your friend is a secret enemy. A guide to spotting the saboteurs hiding in plain sight before they have the chance to strike. For now, step back into the world, keep your mouth shut, and keep your eyes open. The silent ones are always the ones who see the most.